Doesn't this report today vindicate the Fed? Does it vindicate the Kashkaris and the Mesters and all those who've said it's not close to a peak? And doesn't it prove you and others wrong?
I don't think so. Let me tell you why. Let's go to the housing sector, up 0.7%. That is totally ridiculous. Housing prices by every indicator are going down, not up. Even rentals, yes, they're going up from contracts. They're going up from a year ago. But talk to the people on it. They said, I can't get the jumps that I got earlier this year. That should be minus 0.7%, which, by the way, wipes out core inflation for September. Let me give you a really interesting fact. The distorted way the government does housing statistics. From March of 2020, the beginning of the pandemic, until this summer when the housing market peaked, all the best housing indicators, Case-Shiller, the government indicators, housing was up 40%. What do you think the CPI housing factor was up? 11%. Because of the lagged way it put the rising prices in. What does this mean? We had so much more inflation over the last year and a half because of the inflation wasn't in that housing sector. And now when the housing is going down, and by the way, I expect housing prices fall 10 and 15%, and the housing prices are accelerating on the downside. Will you see that housing sector in the core negative next month or the month after that or the month after that? No. You'll continue to see that positive. It's imperative that the Fed recognizes that is not an indicator of what the real rate of inflation is. And a second really important point, and I think Ian Shepardson really hit it. When did the Fed start tightening? In March. Mm-hmm. Is that supposed to work in 6 months? Look at the Fed exploded the money supply in 2020, the year of the pandemic, by more than any other year in the last 150 years. Did we have inflation in 2020? No. Did we have inflation in the first half of 2021? No. Then we started in the second half, and the Fed said it was temporary, so it didn't do anything until the March of this year. All right? So monetary policy, we started tightening in March. Are we supposed to see that in the core now? No. What do you see the tightening of the monetary policy in? Just like what did you see the loosening of the monetary policy 2 years ago in? You see it in the housing market, you see it in the financial market, and you see it in the commodity market. All of those exploded in 2020, which showed you that inflation was definitely there and going to go into the official statistics.
Right.
And what have happened to those three markets? They've gone down. When will it get into the core? Months, if not years down the line.
So
if the Fed waits for the core to get down to 2% year over year, it'll drive the economy into a depression. Totally wrong. I'm not at all surprised by the number because the number is ridiculous. It has no meaning to what the actual rate of inflation is.
So
in the housing, which is almost 50% of the core rate, is the most distorted of all.